Welcome to Mrs. Cox's class, and what I'm going to be starting with today is talking about the reviews that I do at the beginning of the school year. So I teach both 7th and 8th grade math, and for 7th grade, what I do is I do a review for about the first 2 weeks of school. So one of the things that I like to do during this 2 weeks is by using the review, it gives me the opportunity to do a bunch of other things. One of the things it allows me to do is it allows me to have time to do any of the district testing that I need to have done. So I get that district testing finished. But it also allows me to just start working on my class procedures and rules in my classroom, again, without it really interfering with the 7th grade lessons. And then it also goes back and it just reminds the students what I want them to be really, really, really good at. So for my first 2 weeks, all of my math is done in Get More Math. So there's no Eureka Math here. There's no Engage New York. It's all just Get More Math as I get students ready. And then the other thing I do is I start off with basic addition for the first day, basic subtraction, basic multiplication, basic division for the first 4 days. So it's just your basic ideas of math. This is also when I time students on their basic facts, 100 math facts in 3 minutes or less, and I tell them by 7th grade, they should be able to do it in 3 minutes or less. And if they can do it in 2 minutes or less, by the end of the year in every single category, then I give them a banana split on the last day of school. So they have something kind of work for, but the idea is that they need to understand that their basic math facts are important. And it's so important, I'm willing to buy them a banana split on the last day of school for them to understand and do this math. And so I'll do those as well, and I'll time them all the time. And so I'll time them that week as well, and it'll go in the computer as one of their grades. So they need to make sure they understand that it is important. It is worth 10% of their grade. So it's not going to totally destroy their grade if they don't know their math facts, but the more they know their math facts, the easier it is to keep an A in my class. And then the other thing I do is I also teach them a couple of things that they don't know about basic addition. And I have a rule that I teach them about addition, I have a rule that I teach them about multiplication, and I have a rule that I teach them about division. And if they apply these rules the way that I ask them to, they're going to find out that they can work smarter, not harder. And that's one of the things that I want to make sure that they understand how to do as well. So I do that too, and that does a couple of things. Not only does it start to show them that there are other ways to be thinking mathematically, but it also lets them know that they are going to learn something from me, because sometimes you get really smart kids who come into your classroom and they just assume that they really haven't learned anything from the teachers before you, and they just feel like they just learned it because they're smart. And what I want to show them is, no, they're going to actually learn stuff from me. And I'm actually going to teach them something about addition that they didn't even know before they came to me. And that just gets them a little bit more excited that I'm going to be able to help them every day. It also gives tips for kids who struggle, and it gives them a real opportunity and a way to actually engage and do the math in a way that they never could before, because they couldn't do the math well enough. They would get stuck, they would get it wrong, they would get frustrated, they would quit. And this gives them some new skills that allows them to be successful a little bit more often, and start to believe that they can learn math, and that's what we want. So today's lesson is the beginning of the year review day 2 for 7th grade, and this one is just basic subtraction. So there really isn't any neat, cool trick that I actually teach students on this day. It just gets them practicing their subtraction, reminding them that they need to borrow, that 0 minus 2 is not 2, that they're going to have to borrow because you can't take 2 away from 0. A lot of kids will, because they're in a hurry and they think they know how to subtract, they'll start doing that automatically. They'll just take the smaller number away from the larger number, regardless whether it's the first number or the second number in the subtraction problem. So you have to slow them down and make sure that they're understanding what's really happening. I want you to take 2 away from 0, and you can't do that. So you're gonna have to borrow one of the 10s, make that a 10, and then you can take 2 away from 10. And that's just kind of slowing them down and making them to do that. And that's why I put that in there, because a lot of times, kids are making simple mistakes in their subtraction because they're just going too fast. But the rest of it is actually just the video. So enjoy the video where I actually work with the students on what they're supposed to do. Thank you. So here are the actual skills that the skill codes that I use for my day 2 review. And this again is just basic subtraction. This will probably stuff that I will eliminate after a week or two. It mostly again is just helping teaching the students my strategies for behavior and things like that. And it lets them remind them again of how to actually subtract. So if they remember that they take the first number, 8,259, and they are subtracting 784 from that. and make sure to line up their numbers correctly, and then they just subtract. 9 minus 4 is 5. 5 minus 8, well, you can't take 8 from 5, so you're going to have to borrow. So we'll take 1 here, and we'll make this a 15. 15 minus 8 is 7. 1 minus 7, again, you can't take 7 from 1, so again, you're going to have to borrow. And then 11 minus 7 is 4, and then 7 minus 0 is 7. And then they'll type in 7,475. They don't have to put the comma, or they can, either one. Get More Math will make it correct either way they do that, okay? But here are those skill codes. And then later on, I'll show you what I do, because kids usually master this pretty fast. And so I eliminate it pretty quickly. But when I see that I have a group of students who still struggle with this skill, that lets me know that these students are probably going to be regrouped into a class where they're still working on basic skills like this. For the other students, they won't see this anymore after 2 or 3 weeks of school, and it'll disappear. And it just kind of gave them that refresher that I wanted them to look at the beginning of the year. And so because this math was so simple, I actually didn't put any of this in the video. What I did in the video with my review day 2 is I went ahead and I continued to practice both the adding long columns, because again, that's a new skill for them, and the lattice multiplication, because tomorrow, or in their review day 3, they're going to actually start multiplying. And I wanted them to get lattice multiplication a couple of days before they actually had to apply it in their Get More Math, so they could start seeing that skill. And so that's what I focused on in the review pages, because the actual Get More Math, this is really, really simple. And now you'll see the lesson that I actually taught. Well, hello. So today is day 2. Today's the BOY review day 2 is going to focus on subtraction. So it's your basic skills of subtraction. So if you can go ahead and open up your book, this is going to be student page number, let's see what that is. Student page number 5. So it's S5. You'll turn there to get there. It's going to say BOY review day 2. BOY just means beginning of year. So it's the beginning of the year review day 2. This is basic subtraction. So again, just trying to help you get used to the scheme of things. Real quick though, I do want you to cross off number 3, because we're not going to be doing that one. That's actually a little bit farther along lesson. But I do want to do some basic subtraction right here and just make sure you understand how to do it. So we have 5,207 minus 498. And remember, when you're borrowing, you have to try and take 8 from 7, and you can't. So you're going to have to go to the tens. Well, there's nothing there. So you're going to have to go to the hundreds to borrow. So you'll borrow 1 here, which will make this a 10. And then you're going to borrow 1 of those now. And so it'll be 9, and then this will be 17. So it becomes 17 minus 8 is 9. And 9 minus 9 is 0. And you can't take 4 from 1. So again, you're going to have to borrow. Then it becomes 11 minus 4, which is 7, and then 4 minus 0, which is 4. And so the answer here is 4,709. I think that that's really the hardest thing on here. But now we're going to go and we're going to do some more practice of the lattice multiplication. And I just want to take a look. So it's all lattice multiplication. Yeah, and that gets to the homework section. Okay, so we're going to switch over now, and we're just going to do the lattice multiplication right here. So we're going to start with number 1. And the first thing that I always want you to do is I want you to draw a line separating these boxes. And so you're going to start at the upper right hand to the lower left hand corner. And you're going to just create a line going right down the diagonal of each one of these. And you only have to do them for the ones that the numbers are, because that's where we're going to actually be doing our math. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to treat this like a multiplication table. So 3 times 2, well, that would be 6. So we'll put a 0 in the tens and a 6 in the ones. 1 times 2 is 2. A 0 in the tens, a 2 in the ones. 7 times 2 is 14, a 1 in the tens and a 4 in the ones. 3 times 5 is 15, so it'll be a 1 in the tens, a 5 in the ones. 1 times 5 is 5, so that's a 0 in the tens and 5 in the ones. And 5 times 7 is 35. So it'll be a 35 in the tens, a 5 in the ones. And then the next one, we have 3 times 1 is 3. So it's 0 in the tens, a 3 in the ones. 1 times 1 is 1, so it's 0 in the tens, 1 in the 1. And 1 times 7 is 7. And so your paper should look like mine. So go ahead and take a look. Make sure your paper does look like mine before we do the next step. And then on to the next step. So now what we're going to do is we're going to draw a little longer diagonal. Let me change that color. So we're going to draw across the whole diagonal now as we get ready to do the addition. So we've done all the multiplication, and now we're going to do the addition, okay? And so we just add along the diagonal. So this first one, there's just a 3, so that's a 3. And 5 plus 0 plus 1 is 6. And 6 plus 1 is 7, plus 5 is 12. So we'll cross off the 5 and keep the 2. And 2 plus 7 is 9. So we'll put down a 9. We'll carry the 1. 1 plus 0 is 1, plus 2 more is 3, plus 5 more is 8. And 0 plus 4 plus 3 is 7, and a 1. So we end up with 178,963. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and multiply this. So we have 713 times 251, and 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 7 is 7. Put a placeholder. 5 times 3 is 15. Carry the 1. 1 times 5 is 5, plus 1 is 6. And 5 times 7 is 35. Now we'll put 2 placeholders. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 1 is 2. And 2 times 7 is 14. So then we'll add and we'll get 3, 6. And then that's 13 plus 6 is 19. Carry the 1. 6, 7, 8, 7, 1. And we see it. That's actually, that's not a 5, that's a 3. And we see it, that's the same answer. So I'm not going to keep doing the multiplication just to show you that this works. I know it works. You can check it by using a calculator. So I want you to do the math. But when you're done with the math, I don't mind you getting a calculator and checking to see if you're right, because I want you to actually get good at this. The good news is that usually if you get it wrong, you can easily see your mistake, and a lot easier than you can in regular multiplication. It's another reason why I like it. It's a little bit easier when all of a sudden you see that this, you know, if you look at this right here and go, oh, this wasn't supposed to be that, and then you can see that's where you made your mistake. So it is a little bit easier to find your mistakes as well. But here we go. We're going to use this as a multiplication table, right? So 2 times 7 is 14. We're going to put the 1 in the tens and a 4 in the ones. 7 plus 6 is 42, so we'll put the 4 in the tens and the 2 in the ones. 7 times 9 is 63, so we'll put a 6 in the tens and a 3 in the ones. 2 times 8 is 16, so we'll put a 1 in the tens and a 6 in the ones. 6 times 8 is 48, we'll put a 4 in the tens and an 8 in the ones. And 9 times 8 is 72, so we'll put a 7 in the tens and a 2 in the ones. And now we're going to redraw the diagonals so that we can do the adding. So we'll draw our diagonals again just to kind of remind us that we're getting ready to add all the numbers inside that share that diagonal. So this first one, the only number there that has that diagonal is a 6. The next one, 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 plus 8 is 13. So I'll cross off the 8. I'll put down the 3. I'll carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. And 8 plus 2 is 10. So I'll cross off the 2. I'll put down a 0. I'll carry the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 7 is 15. So I'll cross off the 7. I'll put down a 5. Carry the 1. And 6 plus 1 is 7. So that I see it. This is 75,036. Okay, so we'll do it again. First thing I want you to do is I want you to separate your boxes going from the upper right-hand corner to the lower left-hand corner. And again, after you do this for a while, you will get the hang of it. You get real good at it. I'll actually teach you how to multiply without any numbers at all. But you have to get good at this first before you can even do that. Let's go ahead and multiply. 2 times 6 is 12. So I'll put a 1 in the tens and a 2 in the ones. 6 times 4 is 24. So it'll be a 2 in the tens and a 4 in the ones. And 1 times 6 is 6. A 0 in the tens and a 6 in the ones. 9 times 2 is 18, so it'll be a 1 in the tens and an 8 in the ones. 9 times 4 is 36, so a 3 in the tens and a 6 in the ones. And 1 times 9 is 9, so a 0 in the tens and a 9 in the ones. Then we're going to draw across our diagonal again. So we'll redraw those diagonals so that we can add within them. We're going to add all the digits that share that diagonal. And so the first one is just an 8. The next one, 2 plus 1 is 3, and 3 plus 6 is 9. And 1 plus 4 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8, 8 plus 9 is 17. So I'll cross off the 9, and I'll put down a 7. 1 plus 2 is 3, and 3 plus 6 is 9. So that I know this answer is 9,798. So the next 3 lattice multiplication we're going to do in class tomorrow. Okay, so those are prepared for us to do in class tomorrow. Now we're going to take a look at these, the addition, and we're going to do some more addition. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to add these columns and numbers up using the skill that I taught you yesterday in class. 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. I'm going to cross off the 5 and keep the 0. 0 plus 6 is 6. 0 plus 6 is 6. 6 plus 5 is 11. I'll cross off the 5 and keep the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. Cross off the 5 and keep the 0. 0 plus 5 is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. So I'll put down the 0, and then I'm going to carry 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. And I'll keep the 0. 0 plus 8 is 8. And 8 plus 9 is 17. I'll cross off the 9 and keep the 7. 7 plus 2 is 9. Plus 3 is 12. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 plus 7 is 12. 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. Put down the 2. And I'm carrying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll do the next one. 1 plus 5 is 6. Plus 0 is 6. Plus 4 is 10. 0 plus 3 is 3. Plus 2 is 5. Plus 7 is 12. 2 plus 0 is 2. Plus 7 is 9. Plus 5 is 14. So notice how we're going to get to go a little faster. 1, 2, 3. 3 plus 5 is 8, plus 2 is 10, 0 plus 9 is 9, plus 6 is 15, 5 plus 8 is 13, 3 plus 4 is 7, 7 plus 2 is 9, 9 plus 1 is 10, 0 plus 6 is 6, 8 plus 6 is 14. So go down to 4. I'm going to carry 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to carry 5. And we'll save these 2 for class. Okay, so that is the bulk of the lesson. And so I just want you to go ahead and practice that and then be ready for class tomorrow. All right, you guys, I'll see you later. Bye. So don't forget, thank you so much for being here in my classroom today. And if you like this, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.